The Honda Prologue is yet another Ultium car built by General Motors upon Honda's request. It's like before you place an order for it with Honda, Honda placed one with GM. We saw it replay in the Acura ZDX, a solid SUV to compete with at least half a dozen others and more affordable than Acura. So let's get into it. The front end is like straight up Honda, displays full LED headlights and within them the LED turn lights. The Prologue has a boxier look and that always means more room in the rear, especially for grown children and even adults. Even when driving, which I'll describe in a bit, one feels the extra high seating on the ground and that's surely on account of the skateboard style battery. Even with the ground clearance, that won't surprise most in actual. Here's the big difference. The single motor variant will carry the motor in the front rather than the more conventional rear side. The front motor is obviously preferred for slippery and snowy conditions with more potential for regenerative braking, not so much for power and performance, and that's showing in numbers. The dual motor option brings an optional motor in the rear and yet does not drop efficiency by much. Even in the top performance trim, it's just that little bit extra. The steering wheel is manually adjustable with limits on how far the steering column would go in. I'm 5 feet 11 and I did not have an issue with that, but shorter drivers might not like it. Room in general would not be an issue in this car, though the urge to give higher headroom may have led to the rear seats going a bit too low. It could get a bit discomforting for adults. The lower roofline reduces the rear storage. The dividers and compartments in the cargo area I feel reduce potential space. It's something we see often in cars from Asia, or that's just my feeling. Better to leave open spaces for people to organize at will, aftermarket. I honestly don't know whose idea was this, Honda or General Motors. Irrespective. The center console has two USB-C ports in addition to the two in the rear seats alongside the rear air vents. A 12 volt is available in the center console and the rear cargo area, and a 110 outlet is made available in the rear console. The Prologue has a slightly larger 11.3-inch center display to the 11-inch instrument cluster. Older drivers will surely appreciate the abundance of physical buttons and also won't notice the Google screen UI that's nowhere as zippy as the ones in a Tesla or a Rivian. In our video on March the 1st, we had detailed the specifications of the Honda Prologue. You may want to check that video here or with the link in the description. To summarize, the Prologue brings 5 trims, a front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive each of the EX and the Touring. That's 4 trims, topped by the 5th all-wheel drive Elite. An 85 kWh battery pack with a top DC rate of 155 kW and 11.5 kW AC in all the trims. All front-wheel drive single-motor trims are rated for 296 miles range, and the 2 all-wheel drive trims bring 281 miles. The Elite sees a further drop to 273 miles. Clearly the drops are smaller with the front wheel bias. The power boosts to 288 horsepower from 212 with an added motor, and the torque jumps to 333 pound-feet from 236. This is a big sturdy SUV that can tow 1500 pounds. The Prologue is 192 inches long, 78.3 inches wide, and half an inch taller in the all-wheel drive trims over the 64.7 inches in the front wheel drive. It has a 121.8 inches wheelbase and 7.9 inches ground clearance. The very first impression of driving the Prologue is its immense stability and its excellent build. Getting started on the Google software, I first got to one pedal drive and then the navigation. That's only my way of starting the impressions. Navigating to a destination to drive to. Driving so many Google powered cars, we notice the constant improvement, especially on short distances in and around cities. Strangely, it's now where I would have loved my car to be at prior to getting on my Tesla. The instrument cluster wouldn't show me the state of charge, except when the power button is switched off. And after syncing Google across from the center display to the instrument cluster, it wouldn't display the road speed limit, at least not by default. Driving the car across the parking lot, then hopping on the road and turning into a lane, the car handled the first corners wonderfully. Then when confronted with a curving freeway ramp, it was equally good at corners before merging on the highway, to which it took very smoothly. The one pedal that I set to its max setting was incredible, with the instrument cluster which I synced with the center display at the press of a button, constantly spewing out the regenerated energy. Not sure other drivers would care for it that much. It exited the highway equally well, like all large SUVs. It offered early blind spot checks. I drove it back to the neighborhoods, where too it felt easy on the lanes and the turns. Here's an impromptu tour of the Google software in the Prologue, after which I'll be back for our final words. My biggest disappointment is with its poor 155 kilowatt DC charge rate. That's not what you offer in this day and age, particularly for a 85 kilowatt hour battery. The range number is going to be a smokescreen in the real world, with a CCS charging network that's very challenging here in the US. And that DC rate will make matters only worse. This practice of presenting charging in the form of time is to me a dubious one. It's important that the customers know the kilowatt numbers. Miles added in minutes is subject to availability of charging and then its real world range. That's double dubious. Anyway, that clearly seems like an industry set and accepted practice. The car looks well built with roomy interiors, but its giveaways in the form of real world range and efficiency will need to be seen once it's widely available. If you would like to view our early impressions of the other Honda car, the Acura ZDX, click the link here or in the description. See you in the next one.